Okay, how about that, Mike?
I think, well, thank you very much for going through it. It's, al- it's always an interesting experience to, because obviously just on a very personal note, we work very hard to try and trying to make those web pages as interesting as possible. So it's always good. It's always good to review it. There's a couple of things I spotted in there I'm going to be talking to my team about, but that's okay. That's fine. That's
Yeah,
absolutely fine.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
So here's your time to make that pitch. Why should anybody go to this event? When I say anybody, meaning that it's open for everybody. But why should people go to this event here in New Orleans the day or 2 days and the day before second week of Jazz Fest?
hmm. So I think anybody who's interested in what is happening in the world as far as technology is concerned. So what we talk about is that the people who come at our events, so the people who are building the companies of tomorrow are talking to the people who are running the companies of today. So that, and it's that intersection of sort of innovation and creativity, those sort of sparks is the sort of stuff that flies. Those sparks are the ones that fly at our events, or at least that's what we try and achieve. And I think that there are very few areas of life these days that aren't affected in one way or another. I think, what we try and do is we try and make sure that people connect with the right people. One thing I haven't really mentioned here, and I think that this is one thing that people often wonder about at our events or bigger events or big tech events, is how do they find the right people to talk to? How do they know which speakers to go and listen to? And we have an event app which we thoroughly recommend that people download, and the vast majority of people do download. So in that event app, there's a recommendation system. So we sort of understand what your connections are, and we recommend talks. We recommend who you should chat to. There's a chat system within the app, and we find that that's a really good way for people to connect. So investors to connect with startups to connect with media to connect with speakers, and speakers to connect with anybody. And we find that because technology, the world is usually very open, and we find that really helps. The other reason would be, and this is not necessarily for people within within Louisiana, but for people outside the state, New Orleans why would you need an excuse to come to the Big Easy? You don't need an excuse. You should just be there because it's a fantastic city. And come for the jazz, stay for the tech. It should be a quite cool combination, we hope.
Well, for sure. Jazz Fest, New Orleans, technology, entrepreneurship. I mean, it's a great mix. Mike, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking your time, and I will see you next week for sure.
It's a pleasure. Well, we'll see you. I'm sure. I hope you've got your ticket. And we'll see you in the Media Village. I'll be the English-looking guy. You can't miss me.
Right. Thank you so much. Really.